Good day and welcome to the Thursday edition of the Sport Rep Show. My name is Jesse Jackson Kauraiva and I will once again be your host for the next. Packing the latest sports news in and beyond Namibian borders. Of course, there is a lot of sporting events taking place. Although it's a Thursday, this event starting from Friday onwards, there will be a number of events taking place. However, the Brave Warriors squad was also announced today. All that, let's have a look at the latest on the hit list. Now, Brave Warriors coach Colin Benjamin has announced his provisional squad for the upcoming qualifiers that will be the World Cup qualifiers. Of course, an important qualifiers taking place, and the squad list will be there on your screen for you to see as how the teams will be lining up. Obviously, that's a provisional squad, and what we have there as goalkeepers is Edward Malva, Jonas Mateus, Kamayanda D0, and Lloyd Kadhapa as the goalkeepers. And in the defenders, we have Ivan Kamberipa, Sergio Damasep, Charles Hambira, Cisco Harasep, Bonifacius Joseph, David Hangwafa, as well as Ngero Katwa, while Rian Hanamuk and Kennedy Ape will also be involved in that one. Looking down at the midfielders, we have Dion Hoto, the Orlando Pirates man, a talisman in that squad, and as well as Moses Shidolo playing for Scotland FC, Precious Petrus, another player playing abroad, recently signing a deal also in the Middle East. And then we have that is Erastus Kalula, Dynamo Friedrichs, Oscar Nyambe, Rivaldo Prince, Alpheus Levy, as well as Elias Handongo, Vevangapi Mbwende, Paulus Amutenya, and Tyrese Hikupembe, and Betuel Mudeuna. If you look at those players, we do expect the coach to cut some of the players as well in that one. But relatively a familiar midfield selection the coach has been relying on for the past couple of months in terms of playing in the qualifiers there. You look at the likes of Rivaldo Prince, Vevangapi Mbwende. These guys recently coming into the mix of things in terms of Brave Warriors selections, and they are there. And now the likes of Dynamo Friedrichs in that midfield, also a player recently making his return in terms of playing for the national team or receiving a call up. Obviously, he was injured for a few months and now he's also back in that squad. Oscar Nyambe there, a player, an upcoming defender, midfielder actually, that's receiving some attention in terms of call ups, as well as Tyrese Hakupembe there, Paulus Amutenya, Betuel Mudeu, a regular player, always on the call up as well. Now, looking down at the forwards there, we have that Isaskar Bayon Gurirap, who is also a top striker and performing well, recently being a named player of the month for his team there. He is there. And the talisman himself, Peter Shalulile, the captain, that one. And if you look at David Ndeunyama there, also a player that's coming of age, and he has been called up for the team here. He will be part of that Brave Warriors team as well, which is the provincial squad for now. And then we have Wiseman Lifasi, as well as Jocelyn Kamatuka, who just recently also scored a goal in the Premiership, the South African Premiership, scoring Durban City's the first goal of the season, coming off the bench and scoring that goal. The Cobra, they call him in that part of the country, and definitely making sure that he got his first goal of the Premiership, the South African Premiership, obviously following in the footsteps of guys like Peter Shalulile, who were regular scorers in that Premiership there. The season started. Let's wait and see what Jocelyn can achieve. So this Colin Benjamin's team, of course, preparing for the clashes against Malawi and Sao Tome Prince. These two teams obviously also giving a chase in the World Cup qualifiers, although they are behind. So it is important encounters for Namibia in general, because they will need to do well in order to qualify for their first ever World Cup. Of course, proving to be difficult with Tunisia leading that group, but Namibia in second place and also standing a good chance. There has been campaigns already launched, like the Road to the World Cup campaign. They're the first pictures you saw there on your screen. Obviously, there is a lot of collections in terms of the team and what it is going to do forward. We also have some news from futsal there, the futsal league taking place there. And if you look at the fixtures of August 16 at the Windhoek Showgrounds, we have Ragazzi FC battling Enios FC. Of course, that match will be the opening match of the weekend as well. And then another match taking place on August 16 is that is a Windhoek futsal team against the Seven Kings FC, another big one there. And then we have JAC FC battling Flying V. And then another match is Wires FC against Ballers FC, another important one there. And then we move on to the matches at 1800 hours. You can see there at the showgrounds as well, X-Men FC versus EFG Patriots FC, another important encounter. 1900 hours, a big match, of course, whenever Chile FC are involved. It is a big team, as they call it, that side. They will be involved against Ademia FC. And then the final match of that day at 2000 hours will be between the Mavericks and Boston Madrid. Of course, the NTV team will be there to showcase some of these big important clashes of the weekend. And now, as we spoke about the road to the World Cup campaign, which is pitting African Stars versus Chula Chula at the Independence Stadium on the 31st of August this month. As part of the campaign to raise up some funds, there will be some celebrities and ministers and all that will also be playing a curtain race match. And these ministers and celebrities were called up, of course, to be part of this event, which is part of the fundraising engagement, where the gate takings or any funds raised from that competition will definitely go to aid the Brave Warriors in terms of their traveling the road to the World Cup campaign. As it was announced, of course, it was announced that definitely the fans attending the matches in Francistown, Botswana, it will be free of charge, because they felt like the team is already, the fans will be traveling a long way to go to Botswana. So why not make it free of charge? Of course, there has been an announcement that buses will be available. Now back to the curtain raiser.
It's not just a game. It's a celebration, and most importantly, it's for a great cause, to raise funds for the Brave Warriors. Now, I just want to appeal to everybody that when your name is called in this list, we urge you to please don't turn it down. Please do not decline. Because your presence on the field will basically inspire unity, excite the fans, and contribute to empower our national team. This is your chance to stand with the nation, play for the nation, and show that together we can achieve greatness. So the list is as follows. Sanet Steenkamp, Dino Balotti, Margaret Mengo, Audrey Mate, Prime Minister Elian Gurare, Miss Namibia Johannes Swartboy, Frank Fredericks, Johnny Dwese, Arma Samkuyu, Welly Mertens, Brent Asep, BC Quira, Erod Namak, Ben Hawanga, Alexi Mafeni, Andrew Kanime, Christophe Maletsky, Patika Rehe Martens, Rosalia Martens Hausipu, Flexman Samuels, Ozen Kahiriri, Nesta Tobias, Harry Simon, Councillor Governors, Stanley Similo, Lucas Nanyemba, Dr. Bernard Taufiku, Elmo Kayamo, Kapena Shombonde, Simpson Haulofu, Agnes Shongarero, Desmond Amunyela, Tatenda Kuka Heavy Transport, Michael Amushelelo, Steve Amunyela, PSD Bet, The Dog, Gaza, Panduleni Tula, Erwin Chipuka, Moses Machai, Liki Erastes, Patience Canalelo, Stanley Shanapinda, Safishuna Nuyoma, Johannes Gavaha, Edson Wanguta, Tangeni Ampadi, Max Hamata, Bernardes Swartboy, Epaphras Mukwilongo, Emma Theophilos, Emma Kantema, Top Cherry, Monica Genkos, Sam Shibute, Nangula Kauluma, Jacqueline Peck, Martha Murora, Nedbank, Meryl Barry, Papkeves Foundation, Esther Kali Bletseho, James Chapman Benvindu, Henry Benani. Obviously, we have a top striker, Robert Shimoshiri, Rebecca Nekundi, Roger Hertze, Keshes Mweti, Judge Witele, Sono Shikongo, Caesar Namanje. And the coaches will invite Tadeusz Kongama to coach one team, and we'll invite Honorable Lucato to coach the other team. So, on the 31st August 2025, the game is on. 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, Independence Stadium, and after that, at 3, then the two bulls are going into the ground. Thank you very much.
We'll now go for a short break, and after that, we return with Zoom In.
When the sun sets, the news begins. Welcome to Sunset News, bringing you the latest headlines, in-depth community stories, economic updates, sports highlights, and your daily weather forecast. Join us every weekday from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25, or stream us online at oneup2.com. Join us on Facebook at Sunset News to stay updated.
Now, as we prepare for the weekend, of course, there will be some NSSR matches that will definitely continue. But it's always good to look at the past before we look at the future. And that's what Zoom In is about. We are zooming in, that is, at the past weekend's NSSR matches. Of course, there will be big fixtures that we'll be announcing tomorrow, which is on the Friday show. Let's enjoy the highlights of the past weekend.
Welkom by ons hoogtepunte pakket van hierdie NSSR onder 19 Premierliga wedstryd tussen Windhoek Afrikaanse Privaat Skool en Walvis Bay Privaat Skool. Dit was dan die eerste 3 punte op die tellbord geplaas deur die loskakel van Walvis Bay, Adrian Boonzaier. Dat was dan BAP wat daarso hulle loskakel in besit gestel het, Ben de Wet in die eerste helfte daarso om die kantlyn op te soek. Die gewigsvoordeel wat Walvis Bay geniet het in hierdie wedstryd, wat hulle nie altyd lekker kon laat tel nie. Ook hierso dan gestraf, strafskop dan in die guns hierso van Windhoek Afrikaanse Privaat Skool, hulle dan gevorder tot daar by die doellyn en uiteindelik was dit hulle nommer 8 Georg Otto wat dan die bal gekry het om daar oor die doellyn te beheer. En dan ook wat dan verdoel is deur hulle loskakel Ben de Wet. Hierso Tiaan van der Westhuizen, die haker en kaptein van Walvis Bay wat hier so 'n goeie beweging aan die gang gesit het. Sterk loopie ook deur Valentino Nigambo. Walvis Bay se planne wat nie altyd uitgewerk het wanneer hulle op die aanval was nie. Baron van Wyk, hy het 'n goeie wedstryd gehad. Hierso 'n goeie loopie deur hom. Ongelukkig toe hy daar aansluiting probeer vind. Daai bal wat nie vir Adrian Boonzaier kon vind nie. Dit was dan die laaste aksie van die eerste helfte gewees, 7-3, waarmee WAP dan voorgeloop het. So hierdie spanne wat natuurlik op hierdie oomblik dan Walvis Bay wat 5de op die puntelys is, teenoor die 6de posisie van WAP. Maar WAP wat definitief hulle man gestaan het hier op hulle tuisveld. Goeie vertoning geweet, goeie bal wat daar weggekry is na Carter Loubser toe. Vlugvoetige mannetjie wat daar uitstekende 3 gaan druk het om beheer te neem van hierdie wedstryd. Hierso ook Walvis Bay wat moes terugval. En dit is hulle nommer 23, Jaden Blou, wat daar grond te gebring is, dan ongelukkig vir hom gestraf. Tikskop hier daar geneem is deur John Muyambangu vir Windhoek Afrikaanse Privaat Skool. Hulle het op die aanval gebly en uitgevat daar na die regterkant toe en baie goeie 3 dan gedruk daar deur hulle regtervleuel Dreyer Oberholzer. 'n Goeie loopie deur Valentino Nigambo. Hy het 'n baie goeie wedstryd gehad op die aanval, verskeie sterk lopies gelewer. Ongelukkig die laaste afronding vir Walvis Bay wat hulle dan 'n bietjie in die steek gelaat het. Nog punte dan bygevoeg deur Boonzaier en hierso is die 3 wat die nommer 13 John Muyambangu vir WAP gedruk het, hulle laaste punte in die wedstryd, wat dan netjies verdoel is deur Carter Loubser van die kantlyn af om hulle totaal op te stoot tot 24. Dit was dan eintlik hulle wen 3 kan mens sê daar gewees. So laat terugvegpoging waarmee Walvis Bay vorendag gekom het. Die center Baron van Wyk buite senter wat daar deurgesny het en in die hoekie gaan druk het. Ongelukkig daai doelskop waarmee Boonsaier nie kon slag nie. Doelskop wat ongelukkig mis was. Dit dan die laaste aksie van hierdie wedstryd gewees en ook nog 'n 3 wat Walvis baie gedruk het, ongelukkig daarso doelskop wat dan mis was en 24-22 die eindtelling dan waarmee WAP wen. Terugslag vir Walvis Baai se kanse dan om in die top 4 van die kompetisie te eindig en hulle het nog 2 wedstryde oor en dan baie druk wat dat op Walvis Baai sal wees en hulle 2 wedstryde wat hulle oor het. Ons is hier so saam met die 2 kapteins, so Tiaan van der Westhuizen van Walvis Baai, so ja, bietjie dalk nie wat nou nie helemaal in julle guns gewerk het nie.
Ja, het was nie ons beste game die jaar nie, maar ek dink dit was 'n lekker harde game. Hulle het goed gespeel. Ons het baie dom foute gemaak.
Ja, so baie foute, ook baie gestraf, baie strafskoppe en wanneer jy op die aanval was, dinge wat nie na julle kant toe gegaan het nie.
Ja, ons kan niemand anders se blameer behalwe onsself hier. Ons het die game self verloor. Hulle was maar net die beter span op die dag.
Okay, so dit plaas bietjie druk op julle wedstryde wat julle nog oor het. Julle mikpunt is mos om te probeer kyk of julle in die top 4 kan eindig. Ja. Dink jy julle kan dit nog maak?
Ja, as ons nou die volgende game vol punte kry, 9 punte, dan staan ons goeie kans om in die Superliga te eindig.
Okay, sterkte vir julle.
Baie dankie. Weer eens baie dankie. Lekker game. Baie dankie.
Asai, want ook Affie se kaptein Bernd Otto. Baie goeie vertoning is dit. Dink jy was dit een van die beter vertonings van die jaar gewees?
Ja, dit is so, ons het gespeel soos wat ons geoefen het en vir eens het ons wat ons coach vir ons gesê het gedoen en ja, ek dink ons het heel jaar gespeel, maar ja, gelukkig het hier vandag maar na ons kant toe gegaan die wen.
So julle verdediging was redelik goed gewees wanneer Walvis Baai dinge probeer aanval het en so. Julle het ook die meeste 3 in die wedstryd gedruk, so volpunte vir julle, so goeie vertoning vir julle gewees.
Baie dankie oom. Ja, ons moes maar hard gedefend het. Ja, Walvis is altyd groot manne, sterk hardloper, goeie spelers. So ons is voor die game sê ons mekaar, ons mis nie vandag tackles nie. Ons sit ons liggaam op die spel en ja, ek glo ons het dit gedoen.
As hy baie geluk, baie goeie vertoning.
Our international correspondent Ariel Ghat is on standby to give us the latest international sports news. From me, Jesse Jackson Kauraitha, it is goodbye.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news and starting off with tennis news first from the Cincinnati Open, WTA and ATP that's playing their men and women. In the women's side of the draw, it is number 3 seed Iga Swiatek. She's the Wimbledon champion. She beat Sorena Castilla and that was in the round of 16. The score is 6-4 and 6-3, so she's through to the quarterfinals. Also an upset that was Magda Linette. She upset Jessica Pegula and Jessica Pegula is out of the tournament, one of the top seeds, and it was a 3-setter. Magda Linette going through to the quarterfinals as well. And then in the men's side of the draw, it was also a shocker result. It was number 4 seed Taylor Fritz. He's out of the tournament. He lost to Frenchman Terence Atmane, and the score there was 3-6, 7-5 and 6-3 to the Frenchman. So Taylor Fritz out of the tournament, and it is better for number 2 seed Carlos Alcaraz. He beat Luca Nardi quite convincingly by 6-1 and 6-4. That's all results in the Cincinnati Championship. Going on to soccer news, UEFA Super Cup that was played, that was a game played by the 2 winners of trophies in the previous season. It's a Champions League winner playing against the Europa Cup leader or winner, and it was PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, that beat Tottenham Hotspur on penalties. It was 4-3 on penalties. The game ended 2-2 after normal time. It was close for Tottenham Hotspur. They were leading by 2-0 with only 5 minutes to play in regular time, but it was a PSG PSG that scored in the 85th minute and also the 4th minute of injury time to force the penalties. So Tottenham Hotspur will now focus on the English Premier League that starts this weekend. Tottenham Hotspur have their first game. It's a home game against Burnley. Closing off today's international sports news, it is golf news. It is the next tournament on the FedEx playoffs that's taking place. It's the BMW Championship that's being played in Maryland at the Caves Valley Golf Club. And there's 50 players playing, and that is the top 50 on the FedEx point system that qualified for this tournament. And there's some strong pairings going out. That is from Thursday, the first round. The final round will be played on Sunday. Some of the pairings, they're playing 2 balls and not 3 balls as per normal. It is Scotty Scheffler that will play with Rory McIlroy, and then also Justin Rose that won the previous weekend. He will play with JJ Spaun, the player that Rose beat in the playoff in that tournament, the previous tournament. That was the St. Jude Championship. So the total prize money for this tournament, $20 million US. The winner will take home $3.6 million US. So that's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day. We talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.